In the most random bit of drama, we have Marcus Ericsson, who drives an IndyCar, made some allegations towards Logan Sargeant, who drives with Williams in Formula One. Now, Marcus Ericsson, he was a former F1 driver. He drove for Caterham and Sauber between 2014 and 2018. He had 97 race starts and 18 career points, which isn't bad if you compare it to like Logan Sargeant. And of course, Logan Sargeant drives for Williams and just has not had a good season at all since his debut back 2 years ago, I believe. So a lot of articles, a lot of publications are covering this little bit of drama here, which says from Racer.com, it says Ericsson was speaking in Swedish on the Viaplay Formula One podcast and told a story about contacts in the United States suggesting relationship between Valves and Sargeant had broke down. So Ericsson goes to say here, he says, I was also told this weekend by some American friends who know Sargeant that he doesn't have fun in that team. He thinks it's really hard, and apparently he and James Valves don't even talk with each other anymore. They barely greet each other. It's completely cut off between them. And it's funny because I was like, dude, does he know about him? Or like, I've never heard Marcus Ericsson like talk about current Formula One things, or like, you know, put his 2 cents on anything going on in the Formula One world. And I was like, what, like, where is this coming from? Like, what is this? So then Logan Sargeant was asked about that before this weekend, because Spa, the race is this Sunday. And Logan Sargeant replies saying, Marcus Ericsson has a reputation of talking about other people without ever having a conversation with me in his life. So yeah, it doesn't carry any weight. It's not true. And from a perspective standpoint, like, Marcus Ericsson was an F1, now he's not, and he drives for IndyCar. Logan Sargeant is an F1, high likelihood that he's no longer in F1 next season. And there's been links with him talking to teams like Prema that will be joining the IndyCar grid next year, in potential of him being one of the drivers in that team in IndyCar. So you're going to have, two former F1 drivers going back and forth who will eventually both be in IndyCar. Not that Logan Sargeant is, or there's nothing confirmed, but it's one of the things of like, how is this going to play out over the next year, 2 years, to where, will some beef carry over and Logan Sargeant gets into IndyCar, and now there's some rivalry right there between those two teams. That'd be very, very funny and interesting to see. But then Logan Sargeant goes on and says, I just had a conversation here with James 20 minutes ago. And most importantly, me and James, we both come here and want to do best for the team. We both work in the same direction for what is best for the team. And ultimately, what is best for the team is best for me. So it's just completely untrue. And this is where it really clarified for myself, because I was like, man, like, have they talked together? Have they, like, what does Ericsson have to do about Logan Sargeant? And Sargeant says here, I've never spoken to Ericsson in my life, so I don't plan on it either way. And again, if Logan Sargeant loses his seat and Prema picks him up for an IndyCar seat in 2025, and then Marcus Ericsson is still with Chip Ganassi, and I'm sorry, with Andretti, it'll just be so funny to see like the kind of drama that builds up between them, because they're both former F1 drivers. Logan Sargeant now with the hottest career in F1, and trying to come over here, trying to with a chip on the shoulder against one of, it'd be very funny to see. Now, Marcus Ericsson did respond to Logan Sargeant's comments, and he did say that I didn't mean to upset anyone, simply just said what I had heard. So, maybe he wasn't really coming from, he wasn't saying anything objectively or like this is what actually happened. That's just been related to him through his contacts in the US, and just take it at that. And any speculation in terms of whether Sargeant is or is not on good terms with Valves or the team or whatever, like, that's all going to be speculative. No one has the actual inside scoop on their relationship other than Valves and Sargeant, or a few key people in that organization, because it could be that Logan Sargeant is completely denying, and perhaps that they actually don't really talk anymore because he's just hasn't been performing, and James Valves has come out openly saying that they wanted to sign signs, and that seat is not secured by anyone yet, and that may have created some tensions obviously across between Logan Sargeant and Williams and James Valves. So anything you hear about anything, it's all going to be speculative. You don't know what's actually happening between either team, and coming from Ericsson, right now he's also he started off with Chip Ganassi when he first went to IndyCar, and he had a solid performance, and he went over now to Andretti Global, and he hasn't had the best season as well. He's underperforming to what people thought he was coming from the 2023 season. So it's just kind of, it's a bit funny seeing this little confusion or drama kind of build up between these two drivers. Again, I don't mean, maybe Ericsson didn't mean it like that in terms of trying to be kind of, being a bit more aggressive or offensive. He just really related the information that he heard from his friends where, that are close to Sargeant or around the area. Anyway, I thought it was very funny. Gonna be a very short video. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below.